week 23 of NFHell. Welcome in. It is the week in between the week of the Super Bowl. I'm Midwest Jet, your host. James Marv's coming in hot from Omaha, the beaches of Omaha. G-Men Jazz.
Omaha Beach.
The Omaha Beach. Coming in from small town Iowa, and GOBO coming in from beautiful, sunny Colorado.
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Nope, nothing's gonna go wrong tonight. Is
it Colorado or Colorado?
Colorado. Rat, man.
That's how us natives say it. Yeah, well.
Colorado.
All right, well, fair enough.
Fair enough. Here we are, NFL. Thanks for joining us in between games. We just want to talk about how our life is at NFL and how it's continuing through the offseason, even going into the Super Bowl. We start off with actually a little gleam of hope for me, myself, in a selfish manner. Tom Brady, fuck off, retired. Is it for real? We'll believe it when we see it. But if it is,
5 minutes after the last show was rendered and put up, I get a message. Yeah. Tom Brady's retired. I'm like, yeah, Tom Brady's out of football until he's not.
Eli Manning's gonna miss him.
I'll give him the same exact advice I gave him last year when he retired. Fuck you.
Look, if nothing else, it means he's done in Tampa for sure. All right. So here's the thing, Jails. It actually hurts you that Tom Brady retires because that means there's going to be one additional team seeking a quarterback that you need.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know, but let's address the actual message. I thought it was great. I thought he didn't make a big to-do about it. He just went outside. Was like, all right, it's fucking windy. It's all right, whatever, dude. I'm going to get right to it. I'm retiring, period. Thanks to my friends, thanks to my family, thanks to my opponents. And you notice he got choked up when he said family. He knows there's a lot of shit kicking around with this poor dude. So I feel bad for him, but not too bad because he's going to go on and make more money than I've ever dreamed of in my life. And he's only 45, whatever. So, open a chain of steakhouses. It's sad to me though. I mean, once he's, he's gone. We don't have any more.
You don't have any more Tom. I get you. You're like, because it's good football. We talk about liking the NFL and liking good football. Yeah, anytime you played a Tom Brady-led team, pretty sure your team got pumped up for the game, probably even raised another level up because you're going against the quote-unquote GOAT. So, yeah, I understand that part, but I'm also just, I feel like if you're Giselle, you're like, really? You couldn't have just did this last year? I mean, you didn't win the Super Bowl. Your team sucked.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. Every time that guy was throwing a pass, every time he was completing a ball, gaining a yard, getting a touchdown, he was just furthering numbers that will never, ever be met by anyone ever again. I mean, these are numbers
Mahomes
you put up are going to be very, very difficult.
Right.
Especially, think about how things have changed just since the 80s. Like, those guys played every game, every down, no matter what, injury, whatever. That's the same thing with other sports like the NBA. These guys are now used to play 82 games. Now, your best player sits like 8 or 9 games a year just to recuperate. Like baseball is probably the worst. Cal Ripken went 13 and a half years without missing a single game. That's insanity. That is
right.
Never will happen.
Do you think, though, now since there was money involved before, but now since it's so much money, it's smarter to have them sit those, so then maybe they're playing another 2-3 years because they took that time off to let their body heal.
That's their whole reasoning. Yeah, they're reshaping the way that they view what the human body is capable of taking as people get bigger and stronger. with other things. And
It's the problem with longer schedules is you can do that. I mean, baseball, well, yeah, why would I want to play 162 games when I know we're, probably in the playoffs after 100 games or we're in that. So why don't I like take every fifth, 10th game off or whatever and kind of keep my mind fresh. Basketball's the same. There's 80 some games. Football, that's when it's you're only really sitting bye weeks. So I don't think they sit pro football players. I mean, more than they did obviously in the 80s, but they don't miss a lot of games unless they're like Kadarius Toney.
Well, you're taking the romanticism out of the game, though. I think is the biggest issue. Is it's like, I think that back in the 80s, 90s, 70s, you saw like the teams had real passion for the game, real passion for winning. You have players that are giving it their all. At this point, the game is like such business mindset oriented, is that like you look at your players, you look at the week's schedule, and it's like, is it an asset or a liability to go out and win this game? And so that's why you see end of the season, you're in the playoffs, you sit all your starters, like you get reps in, or like you take calculated losses. And that's something that you would never see in the NFL, especially back like when there's 14 games in the season. Like you can't just take an L. Like you don't know you're going to make the playoffs.
No.
Well, and to that point also, yes, you had the guys that were like coward being like, why would I come out of the game? I don't.
Right.
There's no way to take out of this game. You had guys like fucking dude that severed his own or cut out, amputated his own. Ronnie Locke, so he could go back and finish the game. That type of shit. Not only does it not exist in the passion of the players, but the people wouldn't allow it. So what I'm saying when I say that, Jas, is not that they're going to be sitting people but just that any injury now is like, well, you're probably not going to play unless you have to. They're taking a lot more caution with those types of things than they had in the 80s and 90s.
But it opens up some interesting pairings though. I mean, look at San Francisco this season. It's like it allows guys like Brock Purdy to kind of come out of the woodwork and show that they can exist in a system. Like if the injuries to Trey Lance would have happened, like nobody would be talking about Brock Purdy playing anywhere next year.
Yep. I mean, and I kind of feel like when you think about all the injuries, I mean, it's like some players, it's like they can go their whole career and never get injured. I mean, it's just also, luck, I feel like. So anyway, are we done talking
part of
about
the script?
Anyway, Tom Brady, farewell. Maybe.
Farewell. We'll see if we'll be talking about the beginning of next season, season 2 of NFL. Maybe he comes back and we're talking about Tom Brady again. Never count it out till those little papers are signed and turned into the league office.
Last thing for Tom. Just remember, you were 18-0, and then you were 18-1. Farewell, Tom.
Farewell. Oh, G-Men. Got to get that in. Good job. Thank you. All right.
You guys brought me out of hell for a little bit. Thanks, guys.
I was like, until the Bills
win
the Super Bowl, then that's the biggest dick the Giants are ever going to have,
Yeah, that's like, right. Can any team ever have that good of a Super Bowl win? I don't.
It's funny because, we were the David and the David versus Goliath, yet we are the Giants.
Wow, you didn't sit on that one all year, buddy.
Yeah, wow.
Did you stay up all night thinking of that? No, I got to bed around 2:30.
Yeah.
Who writes your stuff?
What do you guys think below? Make sure you're commenting, subscribing, hanging in there, listening to us ramble on about, Pro Bowl week. I don't know if you guys out there, NFL fans, watch much of the Pro Bowl. GOBO here on NFHell probably watched the most. We kind of tuned into some highlights. GOBO, what do you want to share with us about was it fun? Cool.
My Pro Bowl experience is I was at home watching the baby on my by myself on Sunday, and we threw on the flag football game. We got tired of it because it was terribly boring, so I went, laid down, took a nap, woke up, and it was still on, and I did not realize it was a separate flag football game. So The biggest highlight was the really awkward interview between Robert Griffin III, who was one of the sideline reporters, and Pete Davidson, where he goes to Pete and he's like, "Hey man, you got a lot of game," and Pete Davidson was like, "Cool man, thanks." Like it was not cool.
Awkward.
Nobody had fun, and I think that's a great metaphor for the Pro Bowl this year. It was just Pete Davidson being like, "Okay, cool man."
What's Pete Davidson and your boy T-Law have in common there, James?
Johnson.
I wouldn't know.
You know.
They both got game, man. They both got game.
They're both white.
Both got game.
They're both. Oh boy! All right, NFL.
Wait, did T-Law's dad die in the World Trade Center?
Maybe.
Wait, who died in the World Trade Center?
Pete Davidson's dad did.
I think I did hear that. Yeah.
I'm not ready to talk about the Pro Bowl yet. I want to talk about Russell Wilson again.
Was he at the Pro Bowl? Oh, no.
Did you not hear this news coming out of Denver?
Yep.
About his training staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Okay,
Yeah, well, of course.
Let's set this table here for what Sean
Pro Bowler.
What's the fucking dude? So apparently,
DJ Huntley.
Russell Wilson has an entire team. He has like an office at the facility
And
where only his personnel is allowed, and they're only exclusive to his body and him. We're talking trainers, psychologists, whatever. Who knows who's on the
coaches?
team?
I heard coaches. There were coaches specific to him. Yeah.
What kind of head coach allows your quarterback to have coaches that aren't part of their staff? What the fuck?
Well, and
this comes in and they tell him, they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" He's like, "That's not gonna happen."
Yeah, I immediately like that. Like, I mean, I think that's a big win for Broncos country, is Sean Payton going in there and being like, "No fucking way is that happening under my watch."
No.
Like,
which he did. It's the first thing he said.
Dude, but this speaks to the kind of like what is Russell Wilson thinking in doing this in the first place? Like, what kind of man is this?
That was the negotiating power he had. Give me whatever I want, wherever I go. I want this. And he probably had it, like you're saying, in the psychology that if I have my same people year round instead of half the season or whatever, if I have them in season, I'm going to have a better year. This is what I want. And I always like, I'll give you whatever you want if you know, why wouldn't he? Because look at it. I mean, I don't know if, always 100% now.
Well, it's just the thought that the Broncos had going into the season is that if they had a marquee quarterback, a veteran quarterback and leader, that it makes them immediately competitive. And so they're like, yeah, we'll give you our whole draft capital and we'll give this guy whatever he wants. Cause it's like, we're not going to have him walk. We're not going to have him disgruntled. And yeah, like I said, it's just a violation of like the core fundamentals of team sports. It's like no one player has to be is more important than the other players.
But now is this why he became disgruntled in Seattle? Is because he wasn't allowed
Pete Carroll wouldn't let that shit fly, I guarantee it.
Oh, not a chance.
Yep, they trade him to Denver, and then I mean, here's the thing: who knows if he gets signed and then they get Hackett or vice versa? He comes in and they're like, "This is the deal." I mean, what's your coach do? You can't be like, go to the locker room. I mean, what are you gonna do? Discipline Russell Wilson when he has a whole floor to himself and at Mile High? Like
that's why they sucked all season. Probably no one wanted to play for him.
Yep. So now maybe he'll come back down to earth.
The Broncos, the Broncos played better without Russell Wilson this season. Definitively.
And we've already kind of talked on the fact that Richard Sherman, when he interviewed Marshawn Lynch on his podcast, amidst all the controversy and shit that was being flung at Russell Wilson, Richard Sherman flat out asked Marshawn, "Have you reached out to him?" And Marshawn said, "Dude, I don't have his number. I have to reach out to his personal guy and tell him that I'm trying to get a hold of him." He's like, I ain't interested in trying to get a hold of anybody like that. He's like, so I'll just tell the motherfucker, this is what you need to do. I hope you're all right. But if I can't get a hold of you, then we ain't friends. That's fucked up.
It's pretty fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Those guys won the Super Bowl together, man. That should be lifelong bonded.
Funny, man. It does some crazy shit to people.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw dodgeball, but if you want to get back to the Pro Bowl, take one directly.
It was funny. I mentioned they should just play dodgeball instead last week, and I didn't realize that they actually were going to play dodgeball. I didn't find out until after it was all done. But good for them.
I saw you saw the highlight of Saquon got hit in the head. Didn't you win? Didn't the NFC win because of your boy?
Yeah, he juked he had some crazy, juking and like Matrix type shit, and then got hit in the head or whatever, and the NFC won, guys. Just so you know, whatever game cool. actually counted was the NFC. So.
At least you can say Saquon was a giant when he did that.
Oh.
Because he won't be next year. Right?
NFL, guys. Welcome to it. NFL. Comment down below. Yeah. Let G-Man Jass know about Saquon.
Hey, he's still a giant. And if there's no deal by the end of this week, sounds like the week after the Senior Bowl was the time for the Saquon conversation. So if there's no deal at the end of this week, then I'll be worried.
So help me understand this. I'm looking just at the Pro Bowl score, AFC 33, NFC 35. Geno Smith threw 5 touchdowns, apparently. And
isn't it like 2 or 3 games?
5 points. Did anybody else score any points? How did this scoring work? And why was there more than one game? And why is there only a score for one game? Help me understand.
There was either 2 or 3 games. I can't remember because Geno started the first game for the NFC, and Huntley started for the AFC in the first game, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm taking a nap. But yeah, it was. It was like traditional football scoring. There was no kicking though, so it was like you scored, you threw a touchdown, you could run. Nobody was running. But you threw a touchdown, and then it was 5 yards for a single point or 10 yards for 2 points, like in Pop Warner.
Like seriously, look at this. This is what ESPN has as the box score.
ESPN.
Can't see.
Oh, it's green screening out, James.
Yeah, but it's nothing. It says it just has. It doesn't even have.
It does. I think it's so inconsequential that ESPN's just like, I'm not like they have like an intern's like, I'm not putting up a box score.
Right. I know. It's like I watched a couple things. I said I watched the golf, like part of a golf thing, and CJ Mosley hit like 300 and some yards. I was like, damn. And then Poyer.
Some of those guys are good at golf, man.
Yeah, it's like they're all like get up there. It's like I'm just like, oh yeah.
I did see another thing that was interesting. Derek Carr seemed to hit a hot spot in one of the competitions.
I watched that.
They asked him about it, and they said, well, you're pretty hot here in Las Vegas. Have you ever been that hot here in Las Vegas? And he goes, I guess not. That's probably why I'm going to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And everyone laughed about it, but that's funny.
I don't think it's any mystery that Carr is not coming back to the Raiders next year. I don't think anybody's been quiet about it.
No, but it's still funny.
Right.
You
horrible
saw
question.
Golf clip where he's walking by and the guy goes, Raiders, and he just looks at him and he's like,
oh, Aaron Rodgers? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
Why would you go to your friend who was already your friend and left you for his other friend, and then now his other friend gets fired, so he wants you? No. Aaron Rodgers is going on a darkness 4-day retreat out into the wilderness. Did you see this?
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Gotta be some more ayahuasca.
I hope he gets eaten by a fucking bear.
It's called it's just 4 straight days of darkness. So
wouldn't that be
ironic? 4 days of darkness. So Aaron, like every Packers fan experience with Aaron Rodgers in the postseason.
Oh,
Or,
oh.
I think that's just code.
He's lost.
I think it's
What's that?
code for ayahuasca, bro. It's code for ayahuasca.
I
4
go for
days.
ayahuasca. I'm still. I
Whoa.
seriously.
I
I'm.
researched it, dude. I researched the darkness. A bunch of people do it. It's a Tibetan thing where you go
Where
4
they
days.
also do ayahuasca.
No, no, get off your ayahuasca, dude. It's not. I'm not gonna keep saying it. Anyway, long story short, I'm coming to the Jets. So that's really all we needed to talk.
Okay.
I mean, do they
Based
sleep?
on what?
What?
Based on what? You think he's going to have
Sauce
a
Gardner was interviewed this morning, and they asked him a question, and he said, "I know something about something, but I can't talk about that something right now."
And Sauce Gardner does not know nothing about nothing, man. But I still stand by my statement. If he goes to the Jets and they win the Super Bowl, I will take, Jet. We're gonna go do ayahuasca in the woods together.
We say ayahuasca more than any other fucking program has ever said
Definitely any other football show. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of
Yeah.
that fact.
You're not? Why not?
That was the first time I said it.
Yeah.
Dodgers.
Let's see. Is there any fans out there want to make a super cut of us just saying the word ayahuasca over and
I
over?
will tell you what it is
Ayahuasca.
that Sauce Gardner knows that nobody else that he can't talk about. And that's that if Tariq Woolen was in a New York media, that he probably would have been defensive player of the year. That's what he knew. That's what he knows.
Shade.
Don't be Jay, bro. Don't be Jay.
That's what
Shade.
They
Sauce
could both
earned
be
it.
good, but Sauce, dude.
Sauce earned it.
Hey,
See,
so
you
this
guys
dark,
know that 'cause you-
this darkness thing, do they like meditate in the dark, or they just sleep, or they just like lay somewhere for 4 straight days?
Yes,
Did you
there is
research?
a personal chef and like masseuse, doctor. Every person in there, he goes in there. There is no light. They exclude all the
I
light.
feel like
and
this
he's
was
in
put on by Russell Wilson.
It's at Mile High in his
Yeah.
his upstairs room.
I was like, and here I am thinking that wide receivers are the craziest position in football. And like, what the fuck are with these quarterbacks? Like, just to get to the end of your career and you just lose your mind.
yeah.
You've been hit so many times. You're
CTE.
mentally stuck.
ETE. It's real.
Terrible.
I know, it's crazy times. Also one in the Pro Bowl that I don't know if you guys saw there was tic-tac-toe, which this one was okay. So this is kind of funny because I feel like they're just throwing things like, here, let's just try this year, see how it works.
Right.
Long snappers have to snap the ball up on this giant board behind them and hit a square, and then they get the X. And then the next person, long snapper, gets up, snaps it back there.
That's
to get
fucking
the
awesome, dude.
Okay, yeah. So then that they go get first it's long snapper, then it's kicker, and then it's punter. And then they go back to the long snapper, and the long snapper for the AFC hit all three, the highest one of dude, and this thing is like a launch. Like, so if anybody out there wants to go YouTube, like, it is pretty funny.
Who is the long snapper for the AFC?
I don't know. I that's the thing. I have
I don't even know the team.
No. Maybe no, I don't know the team. I would just be guessing. When I watch it, I was just like, you don't wear like a t-shirt.
You don't know how important it is until you don't have it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Long snappers, I mean, from what I understand from like watching Hard Knocks and stuff, so not like an expert opinion, but long snappers are generally like, it's just another player that fits another position that just has that skill. Like, it's like nobody's like specifically trained to be a long snapper. It's like he's like a fourth string linebacker, but he can also long snap.
Guys, Zach Diossi, 15 years, I think, for the Giants. Long snapper. I've never known another long snapper's name, but he got hurt somewhere like 12 years later in the league, or how many consecutive something. He gets hurt, and the guy's very first snap after him is a fucking bounce ball, bounce pass, muffed or whatever. First snap after that, I'm just like, never really thought I cared about long snapper until that happened.
Sure. NFL, dude. Even with your long snapper.
I think his dad might have been our long snapper before that, or played for us or something as a linebacker way back in the day. Something weird like that. Zach Diossi, come correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
All
funny.
right. That is a crazy story.
Exactly.
Here at NFL, that's what we have this week. In which
Does,
there's no game.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this is the question. Should we let some fans
Yes.
think about it right now? Are they going to pick? Okay, if you guys at home right now, comment below, yes or no. We want to know.
Yes.
What are you going to say, Dames? I mean, you're asking the question.
Yes.
You want to go first?
Absolutely.
You believe yes.
Here's what I think.
Okay.
Anchovies, whatever. If you want it on your pizza, it belongs on there. All right. If you don't, just shut the fuck up and let other people have what they want. Stop trying to put people in a box.
Or a bag,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Gobo? What are you thinking?
So, all right. For one, from a flavor profile perspective, all right. So let's break it down here. Salty, savory, sweet, citrus and cheese mixed together. It's like basically your own private charcuterie board. And then also we're from the same generation, fellas. And if you look behind me here, these gentlemen told us what to put on pizza, and it was all kinds of crazy shit. So you're never going to convince a millennial male that anything doesn't go on a pizza. So I do like Dame's perspective though, is that if you don't like it, who cares? It's none of your business.
Right. Do you like a car or a pickup? Drive whichever one you like. If you like pineapple on your pizza, eat it on your pizza.
Yeah.
And then you don't need to comment about my piece of pizza. I'm the one eating it.
Right.
It's kind of life would be a lot simpler if people would just you do you, I do me.
That's what we do here. We give lessons.
We give life lessons.
Yeah. Philosophy, football, Ninja Turtles. It's all the same shit.
Yeah. Throw this whole thing under the bus and say you fucking hate it.
Guys, I mean, what haven't they fucking put on a pizza? Everything's a topping. You could fucking poop out some pineapple and put it on there and somebody fucking eat it. Everything's a topping. But on a side note, Zach Diossi, 13-year career, 9th year, he finally missed the game. 2-time All-Pro.
He's so on the fucking long snapper.
I love it, man. I love it.
Back to the Giants long snapper.
He's into the Hall of Fame.
I think we're the only TV show to talk about ayahuasca and the Giants long shot.
Diossi. Now I know his name. Now I know.
That is why our viewership is tanking.
Yeah.
Right. I was on board with these yahoos, and then he started talking about long snappers, and I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
All right, then I need two more things.
Bring his dad back in later.
2 more things.
One.
Gales, we're going into the Super Bowl. I want how you feel about the Jets right now and then going into next year. Everyone will do this, and then we'll talk game day food for the Super Bowl.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of like last year coming into this year, then going into this next year. The Jets were very young. I didn't have high expectations. I was hoping we would go about 500 coming into the season. And we did that. We started off really, really hot, but then few things happened. Injuries. Left tackle Becton. Left guard Elijah Vera Tucker. Breece Hall goes down. I think those are the 3 biggest factors of the Jets season upcoming. Obviously, quarterback, we can talk about Zach Wilson. We can talk about Mike White. We can talk about Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Garoppolo. To me, the offense will run a lot better with any of those quarterbacks as long as we have an O-line in that running game of Breece Hall. Because everything else is going to pretty much be the same. Our defense will look very similar. Same defensive coordinator, same head coach. Offense will look different because we have a new coordinator, but also because I think we'll have, hopefully, people healthy. I think we make the playoffs next year. I think we're like one of those. Hackett.
All right.
Yeah.
Get that in there.
Yeah.
Let me get that in there real quick.
Yeah, he's really good friends with this guy, Aaron Rodgers. They have Christmas together sometimes. Aaron loves his kids. I don't know. They're just like family. He had his best 2 seasons of his career under Hackett. I don't know. I don't know. These are just numbers I'm throwing out. So I look for us to go to the playoffs. I think the Bills are going to be really good again. I don't think the Patriots do much more than they did this year. And then the Dolphins are going with Tua. He's going to get hurt. They're not going to do shit. So I think we finish second or first in the division and make the playoffs. Or if we don't, Solid gets fired. And that is my end rant about the Jets' upcoming season. Who would like to go next? Dames, Gobo, G-Men?
I'll go.
You got the floor. All right, let's do it.
All right.
I'll be patient.
My last 2 weeks have been going round and round with stupid ass Seahawks fans who just fucking hate Geno Smith for no reason. He's a career backup. Yeah, that's true. But guess what? 18 game sample is enough to know that he's more than a backup at this point in his career. All right. And their argument is, let's just get a rookie. And I to which point I say, there is one rookie in the history of the NFL that had remotely close to the season that Geno Smith had, and that was Justin Herbert in his first season. He had 31 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards, and like 66% completion. Geno was 30 touchdowns, 4,200 yards, and almost a 70% completion percentage. There was maybe five quarterbacks in the league that did that this year. And then you're wanting to use this fifth pick on a quarterback that, like CJ Stroud, who's nothing about what his NFL career is going to be, when you have other, like, I look at it this way. Yes, Geno is not on our roster right now, but he can be had, and he's the number one option that we have, and that he's our number one choice. He is the same for us, right? He doesn't want to go anywhere else. So to me, if you can get him for 25, I don't want him for 3 years, guys. I don't. What I want to do is I want to use this draft where we have the most capital that we've possibly ever had and build the rest of the team around a future quarterback, but still have a good time and be competitive with a quarterback that doesn't need replaced. There's 5 positions on this team that need to be replaced before a quarterback. And I would like to see us use the picks for that. Even if we trade the 5th pick for more capital, I'm fine with that. But just the thought that getting a quarterback in the draft is going to make us better than we were this year, these fans are ignorant, man. And they're like, you obviously don't know football. I'm like, that's the worst. First of all, anyone that uses the argument, you don't know football, doesn't know football.
They don't know football, yeah.
I always, and then the most annoying thing is the laugh emoji. If you come out with an intelligent comment and they just use the laugh emoji, you just know that you're dealing with somebody that's not of high intelligence.
No.
That said, I think we're going to have another, 9-10 win season. The defense has to get better.
Right.
I mean, I look at the games we lost this year, and if we win the 4 games against the NFC South, which we should have won all 4 of them, that puts us in running for like the number 1 seed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So these games that we lost, we should not have lost them. And it's certainly not Geno's fault that we lost to those teams. I mean, it is what it is. I think Pete and John know what's up. I really hope they don't give him 3 years for $90 million. I really, that just bothers me for some reason. I would love to have him for 2 at 55 or 60 and then like 35 guaranteed. So we could play him all next year, then cut him and pay him 5, or not cut him, but whatever.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
Trade him.
Because I do think that Pete Carroll's getting up there in age, and we need to figure out Geno's not going to be the guy that he sticks with for the rest of his career. I just don't see that being the case. But I don't think it's urgent enough to have to pick a quarterback this year when next year's class just looks.
Yep. NFL, let us know about your teams in the comments. Tell us what you think is going to happen with your team, how they did this year going into next year. GOBO we'll move
I'll
on to
go
you.
next.
I think Derek Carr comes back.
Derek Carr. Oh my God. You know what? If he brings Devontae with him, then I would he's not. But so here's kind of my thing. I have a really hard time being optimistic about this next season. It's not all Aaron Rodgers related either. Like, yes, Aaron Rodgers is done in the green and gold. He does not come back to the Packers next year. I don't know if he plays anywhere next year, but if he does, it's definitely not going to be for the Packers. I think it is more statistically likely than not that Jordan Love will be the Packers starter, at least in week 1. We'll see how that turns out. There's not a super strong sample size of Love so far, but the one that we have is not terribly good. So the reason but that's not even the reason I don't feel optimistic yet. It's like, we had the most draft capital we've had in probably the last 10 seasons this last season. And I think that we wasted it trying to replace guys we lost in free agency with worse versions of that player. And so we took a team that was consistently winning the division and we retooled it to be purposefully worse. And I don't understand the mentality behind it. And this is where I really struggle to trust Brian Gutekunst as a GM. So that being said, I don't have all the answers. The only thing that does give me a twinge of optimism is I thought the Seahawks were going to suck ass this season. Like, I looked at the Seahawks roster, I looked at the players they lost and the players they added, and I'm like, there's no way they will be competitive, and they completely surprised us all. This is not something new that I've said. I think the Seahawks were a very surprising team. That I think that the next year, nobody is going to give the Packers a fair shake. Even really including myself. And so I hope that to be surprised. Maybe Jordan Love just needed the opportunity. Maybe he's going to come out. Matt LaFleur, he's a great game manager. He's a great coach, great play curator. So maybe with this new sort of mobile quarterback, he'll come up with some crazy plays. But I look at our division too. Detroit is red hot. They're going to be good. Hutchinson is going to keep developing. They're going to have a great front four. They got great offense. Vikings are still competitive. They got a ton of talent on the Vikings, and the Bears are terrible now, but they have a ton of capital with that first pick. So who knows what's going to happen? Bakhtiari's at the end of his career. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of downside for Packers fans this next season. So, hoping for the best, preparing for NFHell. Like, it was a good time to add me to the show, boys.
If your team's taking a dump, come on in, join NFL.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, was your team great once? Do they suck now? Like, come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to the fourth member of NFHell here online. G-Man Jazz to talk about the Giants. Go ahead, my brother.
Thank you. Gobes, at least you have, pretty good history hitting on quarterbacks. So I'd say you got a better than 50-50 shot. He's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
As far as the Giants go, guys, obviously I've been in NFL basically since you get a 5-year rule when you win a Super Bowl. So 5 years after the Bowl, I've been in NFL ever since I came out of that haze of winning those two. It's woke up 5 years later. It's NFL, and I had one season in there where I had a little hope, so that gives me a little pause. This year, Ben McAdoo came in. Giants went 10-6, made the playoffs. We did still have Eli later in his career, and Odell had that rookie season, so that was kind of a lot of the main reason. But they sucked the next year. This regime, on the other hand, Coach of the Year Brian Daboll and GM Joe Shane from the Buffalo Bills. They went from the most turnover quarterback, basically, in Daniel Jones to the least, and Josh Allen went from the least to the most. So I'm going to say a little bit elbow injury, a little bit player, and a lot of it coaching and system. So obviously ecstatic with how everything turned out. A playoff win at Minnesota. If you guys remember, I was there. We can go back to that episode, and I'm sure we can recap. So obviously, kind of like the Seahawks this year, exceeded most people's expectations. Daniel Jones had a turnaround, so now that's where we're at in the offseason of how do we keep Saquon, how do we keep Daniel Jones. Saquon says he doesn't want to reset the market, which is $16 million a year, so I'm guessing he's going to want 15, and we've offered him 12.5, I've seen, and they will negotiate that this week, and then I'm hoping they're waiting for Geno to get his contract and kind of see how that market gets set by Seattle to kind of gauge what we're going to have to give Daniel Jones. And I'm hoping maybe we sign Saquon and we just franchise and make him prove it again one more year. Either way, I think he's that professional where he's going to come to work, be the best he can, and it worked for him this year, and it works for some people. So, other than that, Mike Kafka's still going for second round of head coaching interviews, so I might lose my offensive coordinator, but it sounds like Wink is staying, and maybe if Kafka leaves, Daboll will go back to calling the plays next year, and I think that might be an advantage for us. So, future looks bright.
Can I ask?
Let's go.
Do you? And this is not to be insulting at all. Do you honestly think that Geno Smith is the benchmark for the Daniel Jones contract?
I honestly think that if Geno gets 3 for 90, that Daniel Jones might be 3 for 100. DJ will be a higher cost than Geno, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're going to want him for like 4, probably, right? I mean,
I was going to say, I think DJ's going to hold out for way longer. I think I think that Geno and Geno's agents understand his value a little bit. Is that it is he is a short-term guy, and I think that Daniel Jones is going to get a long-term contract somewhere.
Right. I think the Giants franchise Daniel Jones because it's like Kirk Cousins. Remember him for the stupid Commanders? They did it a couple years in a row, and I feel like he just kept proving himself, and eventually, like, you can only do it 2 years in a row. So, sign Saquon, franchise the quarterback.
This is so interesting because you don't want to injure the player's ego and mentality with you as a franchise. And I feel like that kind of does that a little bit.
I know, and I think that is kind of where the Giants that kind of sucks. Daniel Jones, but think about this: Daniel Jones has 5 years, 4 years. We're okay. 1 year's good. I mean, I'm like,
I think Daniel Jones isn't one of those players that's gonna get butt hurt like a Russell Wilson or something. If they did that, he's just gonna go out there and keep doing his thing. That's kind of his mentality. He's kind of manning like. Obviously, you want that long-term commitment.
Yeah, Jones hasn't been in the league long enough to be that obnoxious yet. He's got to take a few more hits to the head.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Some more playoff wins.
A few more playoff wins. Yep.
Plus, it's also crazy, like just how GMs manage like money, salary caps, getting this guy in here, that guy in there. I think it's pretty. I mean, there's definitely people that are really good at it compared to other people in the league.
Well, now you guys see this is where I'm at. Like, Geno Smith is 32. All right. Yep. There's plenty of football left in the guy because he was benched for the majority of the time he's been in the league. So he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body. But here's the thing. If he performed at this level for the next 3 years, somebody's going to want the fuck out of that. I don't say that it's not me, but here's the thing. Like, I have a hard time saying, let's let him ride out Pete Carroll's career for the next 3 years as our guy. Do I know that he can get us to a Super Bowl? I mean, people are saying there's no way. I'm like, there's not no way.
Right. I mean, here's the thing.
It is possible. There are worse quarterbacks than Geno Smith have won. Yeah. 100% true.
Oh, dude, Trent Dilfer.
I was going to say, yeah. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
I mean.
He plays till he's 35. 3 more years. If you had him for 3 years, 30 touchdowns a year, are you kidding me? I mean, like, I'll take that. The Jets have had.
I was going to say, Geno Smith gets a 3-year deal. If he gets one postseason win in that 3 years, he's getting a big contract at the end of it. one postseason win. That's all he
Yeah,
needs.
he's only 35. I mean, then they say, hey, I'm going to play till I'm 39. That's 4 more years. I mean, that's a huge deal. 150 mil, 4 years, end out your career.
I mean, yeah, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm like,
for sure.
I'm comfortable giving him 2 at like 50, two at 60 even. And I mean, it's just like, how do you go from, $4 million a year to 30? And I mean, even if they're like 25, why would you not be like, oh, that's 21 million more than I made this year? And like balk at that. Like, and then there's this. Are there really that many other teams? Like, would Green Bay be like, well, we just lost $50 million. Let's give you 32.
Right.
Geno Smith? I don't think so.
Well, and that's the thing too, is Rodgers is still under contract, so we got to trade him first. So I mean, we got to see what kind of deal. I mean, are we gonna have to retain some of his salary? Like, what players do we bring on in exchange? Do we trade him for a marquee name like Derek Carr? God, I hope not. But it's just like, yeah. So we don't know what our salary cap situation is going to even look like when Rodgers is gone.
I did just see here shortly ago, Derek Carr actually got permission to talk to the Saints.
Okay, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot more sense than Carr to.
That'd be interesting.
Right. And I'm like, and so part of me is like, well, they were kind of a quarterback. I mean, their defense was pretty good this year. So, and then,
it's a wacky division too.
You got weapons, yeah. So
yeah, the Saints are not bad. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders, but they can definitely win that division.
But don't you kind of feel like Derek Carr on the Saints is like Derek Carr on the Raiders?
That's literally yes.
I feel like
the NFC Raiders.
Yeah,
NFC Raiders.
How do you Raiders feel about that comment? Cracker, we know you're watching, Cowboy fan.
Yeah, but Carr took the Raiders to the postseason, was it 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
So, I mean, he wasn't bad with the Raiders. He just wasn't the like superstar they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
and he's kind of a prick.
Yeah.
You know, that's it too. It's like if you're going to be a prick, you have to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, Aaron.
Yeah.
Right? New York. It's coming to New York, Rogers. It's coming to New York. You prick all you want to the media. I don't care.
All right, guys. Taco dip. I need taco dip and wings in my tailgater, top 2, and then everything else is just a treat.
Taco layer, is that 7-layer dip?
It's as many layers as you want to make it, but yeah, you could dip it with the scoops, the Doritos, the Tostitos. I mean, whatever you want to dip it with, and then wash it down with your favorite beverage, of course, and then some crispy wings. Crispy wings.
What flavor?
Oh, garlic parmesan is a good one. Just some. I can't go too hot. I got to go about jalapeno or lower on the old scale.
You guys are brothers.
Well,
I had Jail's pepperoni pizza once, and he was fucking sweating.
Yeah, I'm not that bad.
It's something I was born with. I can't change who I am. Gobo doesn't know. Our viewers probably don't know. Yeah, I sweat at the slightest spice. So
you don't like spice?
No. Okay, here's the deal, Gobo. I love spice. I love eating it at home, where I can sweat in my own.
Seriously, I fed this guy mild pepperoni pizza, and he was like dying. It was awesome.
It was so bad. It was so bad for a while. He'd eat ice cream and he'd sweat.
No bullshit. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say my favorite Super Bowl food is wings for sure. Lemon pepper are my go-to.
Why are you guys picking all these weird wing flavors? Then I just remembered.
They're delicious. And then these pickle wraps, they're pretty good.
Oh, the pickle wraps.
The pickle wraps, dude.
Got those, yeah.
Are you guys making those?
Yep.
Oh, I'm coming to your house.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you should actually. Cracker's coming here. G-Man Jazz is coming here. We could have a live stream with Gobo during the game.
Yeah, but you guys are going to have wings.
I was going to say, pay my airfare. I'll come out.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Get me up to Omaha. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You think I'm joking? I'm like $100. You're probably.
Yeah. No, I get to take the bus.
Just get you here, but that's it.
That's it. Yeah, figure it out after that.
GOBO.
Colorado.
I hate to be like kind of boring, but like, yeah, wings are they're just a football staple, man. There's a place here in Aurora called Golden Flame Wings, and they make this Colorado fancy wing sauce. It's like sort of hot, sort of barbecuey, and it makes the wings like actually like a golden red color. It's amazing, but I slather everything in ranch dressing unceremoniously anyways. So wings for sure. And then for some reason I have like I love those little wieners in the crock pot where you just make like a cauldron of the little tiny hot dogs and you eat them with a toothpick. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's fun. It just I can't not think of football when I eat those.
You can put bacon on those, and it's like, I mean, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you probably don't really like listening to this, but we can wrap that shit in bacon. Then after you take them out of there, you
wrap it all in bacon. Why not? Doritos, throw some bacon on there.
Why not? Roll it around in some brown sugar and honey.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
There's no wrong way to do it.
There's no wrong way. This is
I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry, guys.
I know. I was gonna say I had dinner right before this, so thank God.
Yeah. Hey, Dames, can we post that GOBO, what you just mentioned, that wing place? So if I'm ever in Colorado, I can just come back to this episode, go down this.
I was like, yeah, it's right down the street from my house.
What's it called?
What's it called? Golden Flame. It's a tower in Hampton in Aurora, Colorado. Dynamite wings.
Maybe they'll
fly out, drive back there, eat some wings.
Come out here, get some wings, go home.
Yep. Dames?
Yes, sir.
What do you love
adding to the menu
for the big game?
There's nothing more American than the Super Bowl. So I'm going to throw a big fucking apple pie or apple cobbler at your asses because none of you said anything dessert-wise. So
I love apple.
Apple crisp.
Good after the 900 milligrams of salt we all just ate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're looking for us to possibly be live during the big game, GOBO might be flying out to Omaha. We'll see. We'll be on next week to talk about it. Get your picks in below. Chiefs, Eagles. What's your favorite food during the game? Why is your team in NFHell? Thanks for viewing.
And somebody explain the fucking Pro Bowl to us, please.
Yeah.
Right. We don't get it.
We're 5.
And don't forget, I hate the fucking Eagles.
Yeah. Don't forget to speak your piece in the comments section. Also, like and subscribe to Lock 22 Productions. And thank you for listening to NFHell.